everyone, it's me, Rashab, and we're back here with another episode of Ox Fiends. Really excited to start with a new album here today. The last time that we had the last episode, we had Mateo pick an album that I think at least I know I'm interested in reviewing with him. So I think we're almost just about ready to dive into it. Mateo, how have you been?
Good. I've been good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited. I don't know if you even mentioned it, but we're covering The Mollusk by Wayne. You know, I guess I can
Yep.
just kind of dive in already, right?
Yep. I think we're
Yeah,
good.
just like
If
the
you
stuff you got to know about it. Like, it's released in June back in 1997. It was Wayne's sixth studio album. It kind of wraps it all up. It's very much a nautical album. And it kind of just sums up the mollusk. Like,
I think we've got a bit of a nautical theme going. I think last time we had a moon-shaped pool, water, kind of, somewhat related.
yeah,
I think so.
I guess.
I definitely
Sure.
think this is more nautical than the last one for sure.
I feel like that's definitely safe to say. This is
Yeah,
definitely a lot
yeah.
more
This
nautical.
this is this is. I mean, if you've look, we have to just address it while we're starting. If you've watched the SpongeBob movie, you know they use
Yeah.
so. I really don't think it gets more nautical than that. It's literal nautical nonsense, everybody. So let's go ahead and what we do is we usually go track by track and we give our little reviews for each track, and then at the end we'll talk about the album as a whole and give our ratings out of 10, and we'll pick our favorite song and least favorite song. And as we know in the past few episodes, me and Mateo, we can be at loggerheads sometimes. Is that safe to say, Mateo?
That's definitely safe to say. Yeah. Sometimes, we do agree. Very, very rare. But I think most of the
Rarely.
time we definitely are, butting heads, just definitely always disagreeing. So I'm definitely excited to go into the mollusk, and especially as it was my choice, just to kind of see how you feel about this album and kind of the tracks,
Yep,
that
I
I
was
that I really liked. Because there was definitely some that I've definitely vibed with. I'd be interested to see how
I,
you
I was
feel.
talking to Mateo off air recently, and we've pretty much decided. I think, especially when it comes to music, that if we agree on something in music, and definitely on this podcast, it's such a rare occurrence that it's almost like this sort of supernatural event that it immediately that opinion
Yeah.
is true immediately.
Yeah, it's like immediately set in stone. If you and I agree on something, it's crazy. It's immaculate. It's just 100% truth. There's no doubt about it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think this episode. What do you think, Mateo? Do you think we're gonna have a lot of supernatural moments? What's your take? What are you thinking?
I think the kind of over under on this. Honestly, I think we are actually gonna agree more than you might think. I think I might
Interesting.
surprise you, especially on the overall album rating. Of course, we'll get into that later. But I
Right.
think I might surprise you where I kind of originally started, because I was definitely
Mm-hmm.
very hyped for this album, and kind of
Yeah.
where I end. I'm not spoiling anything on how I feel, but I think we're going to be
Yeah.
a lot closer. And obviously, I think for sure there's going to be one track that we both very much like. I think
Yeah.
there might be a couple that we agree on disliking, but then there's a couple in there that I don't know if we're going to agree too much on. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And so for those who haven't listened before, we don't talk, or at least we avoid talking about the album and our thoughts about it, off air or anything. So I'm really going to be hearing Mateo's opinions on it for the first time. I know it's his pick, so I know the gist of where he might be, but for him, I think he has no idea. So without further ado, Mateo, I'll hand it off to you. First track, dancing in the show tonight. Ween the Mollusk. Let's go.
Thank you, Rashab. Thank you. I think as a song, honestly, well, it was kind of weak. Very, very kiddish.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, I felt it was kind of only really worth listening to if doing a full album, go through. If you're listening to the whole thing, if you have it on record or vinyl, it's not. I don't
Right.
think it's worth skipping it.
Mhm.
But I just felt overall it was, it was just there. Yeah, I don't think
Exactly.
you're not gonna be listening to this on repeat all the time. It's just
Right.
it's just a little introduction, but I don't know.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
think
feel about it?
so. Here's the thing: is like when it comes to album openers, I tend to give them a pass. Usually, most artists I think that I've listened to, typically the album opener is your weakest song or something that you're kind of using as an intro. In this case, at the same time though, I think the intro, like the opener song, sometimes gets too much of a pass. I think also you have to
Yeah,
the fact that this is setting up the stage for what the album is going to be, and especially the year that this album is from, in 1997. This is definitely gonna set up the stage for the type of music that you would have heard from an alt rock genre at that time, for sure.
yeah.
And I'll tell you already, Mateo, the first time I heard this opener, I immediately knew what I was in for, and I was not with it at all. I have three words for this. Okay, these three words are Chuck E. Cheese, because that's what it sounded to me like. It's kind of like the Chuck E. Cheese band, the animatronic Chuck E. Cheese band,
Oh my gosh.
and I could
What?
not believe I was actually gonna have to listen to this entire album. Pretty like the first second, I was like, "This is definitely not gonna work out for me." And I'll say my thoughts for the end of the album about what I think overall, but I think let's just say this general trend continues down the track list. So
Whoa. Okay.
album opener, it's kind of like a weird robotic kitty sound. Didn't dig it. Really didn't dig anything after that either. But it's an opener, so let's not spend too much time on this one. Let's get into the next track, which is based on the album's title, The Mollusk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mateo,
Let's
what
jump
did you
right
think?
into it.
What did you think?
I love it. This is one of my favorite. It's not the favorite song on this album, but I love the Mollusk. It is definitely a top contender for me. I think there's great instrumentals. I love the really airy vocals throughout it. To me, I felt like the Mollusk just had storytelling in the song, just like done right. You know, I don't know. How did you feel about the Mollusk?
Sure, Mateo, if you really feel like that. Um, so okay, so the vocals, you said airy vocals. To me,
Yeah,
the vocals sound very 70s, very Talking Heads. Did you get that vibe?
yeah, it definitely got that. But like, I welcomed it with open arms. I liked it.
It's yeah, and I think the entire album, to me, it feels somewhere lodged between, like, I know this is 1997, so late 90s, but it somehow feels very much lodged between somewhere in the 70s and somewhere in the early 2000s, where
Yeah,
it's kind of trying to leave that like 70s sound that we
yeah.
had then, and then morph into what we kind of became the sound of alt rock in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, I'd
Um,
say overall, real quick,
yeah,
the Mollusk is very much a prog rock. So it is very much like kind of
right,
a 70s album. And
right,
I
right,
think you
right.
are right. It kind of morphed into the early 2000s kind of alt rock genre a little bit. It's kind of
Yeah,
balancing in between the line, you know.
right. What I will say is that for the album is that I think a lot of the things that feel weaker to me might also be because they're sort of setting up a precedent for things that I think have become, that were very commonplace certainly in the early 2000s, but then also became things that we kind of take for granted in instrumentation even today, right? Like psychedelic sound. There's a little bit
Yeah.
here. There is some of that, like you said, prog rock, alt rock sound, especially with the guitars and the drums. It's a little bit pushing into that early 2000s era, obviously because of the time, but it has sort of that
Mhm.
a 70s record. But anyway, coming back to this track in particular, I didn't find it particularly impressive. Again, to me, a lot of this
Whoa. Okay.
is it's homogenous. I mean, don't you agree that the songs kind of just run into each other and not in a good way?
No, I disagree. I don't honestly, I even wrote down for some of them. I feel like some of them, other than having a nautical theme and kind of a little bit of prog rock, I don't really feel like they kind of blend together. I'm not even saying that as a good thing necessarily, but
Mhm.
I don't see how they all are very much homogenous. I don't honestly. I did definitely disagree with you, Rashab. I don't see that.
See, there's a few that I think really stand out as quite different, and I know what you mean, and I know what you're saying, but at the core, I feel like it's very homogenous. I think there's certain
Hmm.
experimentally are done with variety across the different tracks, but as an album, it feels just a little bit homogenous to me and a bit incomplete. Just saying.
Oh, okay. I
But when it
definitely
comes,
don't agree. I will let me say this. I do feel like there are not homogenous. I definitely don't agree with that again. But like there are just some songs that like I will maybe give it to you. I can feel like they kind of have like an archetype or a genre
yeah,
specific to
yeah,
the
yeah,
song. Like some
yeah.
of them are very much prog. So I'm like, okay, there's that. Some of them are very much like more upbeat, kind of alt rocky. And I get there's
Mhm.
a few songs I can group into that. There's just more groupings, not homogenous though. But I don't see any of them that are like back to back. You know, so
Yeah,
I'm
honestly, the Mollusk is definitely not the worst track on this album. I didn't particularly care for it. I like the use of the horns. I like the psychedelic sound. I even like the Talking Heads vocal style. But what I feel with this album in particular, or in general, is that there's sort of like this put on sound that's kind of experimental, but also kind of traditional, like we were talking earlier.
yeah.
Experimental in the sense where it's pushing into that sort of next generation, but at the same time, it's I think in the late '90s, I just didn't think that alt rock was at its highest height. I really feel like that's a genre that came into its own somewhere in the early 2000s, and this album very much feels like a bridge to what would become much better of a genre and much better albums, much better artists. So I guess it could be a trendsetter in that way, but in general, I didn't feel like it really impressed me. But let's focus in on the tracks for now. Still,
Yeah.
Polka Dot Trail, third track on the album. I can go ahead and start with this
Yeah.
one.
Go ahead and start on that one. I don't have too
You
much to
know,
say on this.
I said Chuck E. Cheese for the first one. This one, I'm going to say the Wiggles. Now, that's not a bash on the Wiggles per se, or even a bash on Ween. I don't want I don't want to take down the Wiggles. There's some serious music fans who like the Wiggles sound, but other than the fact that there were a few good moments of like just techno instrumentation, a little bit of a guitar riff that was okay. I just didn't feel like it was very differentiated from the rest of the tracks on this album. It kind of blends together in the mollusk again, not in a good way. And I'll just say the first 2 to 3 tracks so far to me feel like nothing particularly interesting. Instrumentally too, I think that what's being done here isn't necessarily any something that would maybe surprise a listener today. Maybe in '97 it did. Even then though, I still do feel like there's artists who are doing the same thing kind of better. But what were your
Wow.
one?
Okay. I mean, for Polka Dot Tail, honestly, I guess I kind of agree. This one I definitely felt was kind of the most neutral at the start. Kind of started. I liked it a little bit at the beginning, like some with some of the instruments, like you mentioned. But I felt
Mhm.
like this song went on far too long. Honestly, I barely remember Polka Dot Tail. Like, if you would
Yeah,
ask me what's the third song or like what are like the first five, I could name off a couple on this album, but then I'd be like, Polka Dot Tail? Nah, I don't really remember that one. You know,
exactly. Yeah, I totally
I
agree.
just
And to be honest,
I go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's just me, but like third tracks on albums, never memorable. I feel that. If somebody's gonna really freak out about me, and somewhere in the world there's an album with a good third track. But especially in that time, like
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
like there was a lot of filler on albums. Just saying, there was the main event tracks, but like, I don't want to bash too much on '90s music, but there was a lot of filler. I'll just leave it.
That's fair, I guess. But just because it's filler doesn't mean the overall album is necessarily
Well, what if
bad. But
the
we'll get
entire
that into that
album
later.
feels like filler, Mateo? What if the entire album feels?
We'll get into that later. There's no way. I don't know. I'm holding my tongue. That's all I'm saying, Rashab. I'm
Okay,
holding
well,
my tongue.
I feel like so far we're like I don't know if I'm coming off negative enough actually. Like I really
Whoa. Okay.
like
You're
these
coming off
tracks.
super negative to me. I can. I mean, this is going a little kind of, around the curtain a little bit, but like, again, not to talk about the full album, but we agree on like 2 out of 3 of them. I still think the Mollusk, like the song track 2, was
Yeah,
very good.
it's all
But other
right.
than that, I guess I guess we
It's
agree
not the
kind of on
worst.
other ones.
It's not impressing me at all. Like I this is something I could have on in the background and not care, but if I'm really listening to it intentionally, it's just not just not particularly impressive, and nothing is being done here that I think hasn't been done better either before or later. Like it's kind of like it doesn't have the best of the 70s or what would be the best of the early 2000s. And I keep using those dates because it really feels like a mashup of those two. But
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it to you for this song for Polka Dot Tail.
yeah,
I'll give
especially
you that. Not especially for this one, but not for some other ones on this album. Not
okay,
for the other
okay.
ones. No.
We'll see. We'll see how we do as
No.
we go along. I'll be your Johnny on the spot. That's the
Yeah.
next
I think I could take this
one.
one.
Yeah, take this one. Yeah.
This one surprised me. Honestly, I liked
Yeah.
it. I definitely enjoyed it. I love the. I guess the best way to kind of explain it is, I felt like the guitar. I love the
Yeah.
guitar. I felt like it was very. I don't know if this makes sense, but very dirty.
I
If that makes
said the
any
word I
sense.
used. The word I used here was abrasive. Like it's fast.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's
punk
like
rock.
very grungy. Just
Yeah.
like it just you feel that guitar, and that's really
But
what made it for me. You know.
not grungy enough. Like it's
No. I
shy
felt
of
it was
feeling.
grungy.
It felt
I
shy of feeling like very punk rock or grungy. It still felt like something that was coming off of like an alt rock, prog rock album. It didn't really go all in on what I think it was trying to do with the instruments. So I
Whoa.
well, do you have anything to add? Because I feel like I have.
Let me let me wrap up real quick. Other than saying I definitely disagree with you on "I'll Be Your Johnny" on the spot. I also liked. I think it was piano or like the little like electronic kind of beat
Yeah, kind of like
halfway
a
through.
synthy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the little synthy thing. I also like that. I don't know. To me, this song felt dirty, like grungy. I liked it. I thought they did enough with this one. I mean, what are the rest of your thoughts on "I'll Be Your Johnny" on the spot?
yeah, especially coming off of the last track, which I think we both agree is pretty unmemorable. Not well. Look here, all the tracks on this album are unmemorable, but some are more memorable than the others.
Whoa.
I know we're fiending now.
Definitely.
We
Okay.
are, we are,
This is 100%
and
fiend.
but I will say that coming off of that track, it was more interesting. I think it was a shakeup of instrumentation here. I think I was kind of falling into the same sound over and over for the past two songs for sure, and then when the drums get going on this one, it kind of perks you up and makes you want to listen a little bit more. And I agreed with the slightly grungy sound, but it doesn't feel quite like a punk rock song for sure. But the drumming was good. There were some good electronic bits here too. There's a little bit of like a sound effect sampling too, if you listen kind of closely.
Yeah.
But again, it feels like a very stereotypical '90s alt rock track and album to me. I'm surprised that this album has like the sort of like I want to say cult following that it does. And I think that's and I did go through the history behind Ween in general, and it sounds like they're kind of in a way like sort of like a parody of alt rock almost is kind of the description I saw on Spotify,
A little bit, yeah.
and there's sort of a tendency, especially within the lyrics, to kind of go frat boy mode, which makes me wonder why. Like, it definitely gives me a reason of why like this might be an album that has stayed popular as a cult classic for so long, and why it might appeal to a certain demo. Just musically, though, looking at it strictly from that perspective, this track is more interesting than the last, but nothing particularly new. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm on a takedown of Ween and the Mullets today.
I'm saving stuff for when we get to the full album review to rebut a lot of it. I want to still stick with mostly track to track, but
yeah, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but honestly, the last pick, which was Echo Jams, I liked more.
What?
Liked more. Yeah, I don't remember the rating for that one, so I'm not.
I don't
able to rate it perfectly, but yeah.
I think I rated it like an 8 or something out of 10. You probably rated it like a 3.
I think like I went 3 or 4, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna rate.
Oh my god!
Like
How
I
is
don't
the
even know
most?
how low I need
We're
to
getting ahead of
go.
ourselves, Rashad. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Oh my
We
gosh!
are.
No way. Okay, let's move on. We gotta move on. You have nothing else to say about "I'll Be Your Johnny" on the spot?
Yeah, I think we kind of got the idea across that if you're looking for something where Ween pretends to be a punk rock album, this is a
No. If you're looking
yeah,
for
it's
a punk
kind of a
rock album
pretense.
and song, go to "I'll Be Your Johnny" on the spot. You'll get what you need. Unless you don't know
Hey,
music,
you know what?
then
Don't lead our listeners astray. They know
you're leading our
what punk
listeners
rock music
astray. They
is.
need to come and listen to this album. Okay, whatever. I'm getting too heated on "I'll Be Your Johnny" on the spot. It's not even my favorite track of the album.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to
Whatever.
something.
Okay,
Actually, the next track, the next
Mutilated
track is
Lip.
something good to move on to because I like
Yeah.
this. I like this track quite a
Okay.
bit.
Do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I think I've pretty much started here. More of a alt rock plus psychedelic combination. Honestly, did not like the track when it started. Did not care for the random Ween voices, and that happens like throughout this album. Like they'll change their voices to sound cartoony, and I just don't care for it. It feels like something. Feels like a gimmick. You know what? I think I found the word for this album, and it's gimmick.
No.
Yes,
No
it
shot.
is.
It's
Look,
a good gimmick.
it's a nautical concept
character.
album in the 90s. No.
It's nautical.
No.
It's a nautical character.
It is
No
not.
way.
It
Keep
seems
going.
like,
Whatever.
look, Mateo, like it seems like to me, Ween has terrible instrumentation, pretty meh vocals.
What?
And they're like, well, how do we tie this together or try to cover up our lack of talent? And they just said, let's just make it all about the ocean and pirates and things like that.
I absolutely disagree. What? Terrible instrumentation, cheesy
Yes,
vocals? No, I'm
very cheesy. Like
the
cheesy,
opposite. But
exactly the right
like
word.
you say cheesy, I say fun. This is like a
No.
fun all around album. Like I think it's beautiful and great and very much a vibe. And I'll talk about being a vibe in this track too. Just like
Okay, well, so
it's
we're on
good.
this track. It's a good track. It has more of a chorus and bridge structure, which I like. There's a guitar riff, and I thought it was kind of cool, actually. Not a bad track. This is one track that I might listen to solo, but
Okay, I guess.
it still fits sort of into that gimmick fold. But you know, not the worst. Definitely one of my favorites, actually, without spoiling.
Oh, okay. I
What did
guess I
you
wasn't
think?
expecting that after you just said all that stuff beforehand, but
Well, because there's stuff coming up.
Especially funny how you said even though it had a little bit of the gimmick when fun fact, I feel like this song is the most gimmicky out of all of them because this song apparently, I guess I don't know how accurate this was. This song apparently was written while high off LSD. My weed.
That effect, that you know, that explains the echo effect.
Yeah,
Through the song.
yeah.
But like it's more like a Beatles song, sort of.
I don't
has
hear
some
Beatles
of that.
unless it's a compliment. Then I'll go ahead with it. But like overall, I really liked Mutilated Lips. Like
Yeah, it's a
I
good
love
one.
the Moog usage, like for all the synthy and stuff, like all the beats.
Mm-hmm.
Here I'm disagreeing with you. I thought there was really good lyrics. I thought there was very creative and interesting vocals. I felt like they did something different. I felt like they took a chance and they hit it. The song to me definitely was a vibe, like for the overall album. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess like you know if there is a gimmick, but like the instrumentation at the core and the vocals and the production behind it is strong, you know, the gimmick doesn't really make a difference to me then. In this case, I felt like there was really good production around this. There was good vocals, even though I don't care for the cartoon voices. I don't think it's creative. It's just annoying.
Agree. No way.
But still, one of the better tracks.
I okay.
Yeah, I guess it's like it's praising, but it's pretty low praise. Like it's kind of like the pick your poison, best of the worst kind of deal. It's
I don't even know how to rebut any of this. It doesn't make any sense. Pick your poison. No,
Yes.
no, no.
Yes.
Not at all. This is the opposite. This is the antidote.
I almost
fun. It's fun.
No, it's not, Mateo.
It's fun. It's
my
creative.
next album pick. That's fun. That's fun. This
No
is
way.
fun.
I'm gonna rate the
This
next
is a
one low.
chore. This is a
This is
chore. No, you
Or
can't
I
do
had
that.
fun.
You cannot compromise the integrity of our podcast by.
Okay, I won't compromise any integrity. Doesn't mean I won't be,
You know what is actually kind of fun? You know what's
What?
actually kind of fun? Our next track. Kind of.
What?
Slightly. It's like a sea
Well,
shanty.
Yeah, okay, I mean, yeah. Let me introduce it. You can talk about first if you want.
No. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Track 6, the Blarney Stone.
Yeah.
To me, that's literally what I wrote down. It was a sea shanty we kind of all expected on the album called The Mollusk. It fulfilled that criteria, plain and simple to me.
Still a gimmick, but it's an okay gimmick.
Out of any, I guess I can see the gimmick. But to me, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's there.
But it's
That's kind of it.
the most fun.
Out of anything
kind
you
of.
could say, most fun? No, not the most fun. Definitely not. I'd say this is the actual gimmick song. Just throwing in a sea shanty. We want it on an Nautica album. You have to put one in. We're gonna be listening to a sea shanty all the time, anyways. Not usually.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's this like it has like that playfulness to it, and it's kind of expected. Like at this point, the way that the album was going, I was like, this is pretty much just the next step as a track that they had to do. Yeah, it's musically creative, I thought, but it's still a gimmick, but it's kind of an okay, like passable gimmick. Like I expect this, and
okay,
it's fine.
I guess it's a gimmick, but I don't. I think out of all the ones to be passable, I don't think this one's like passable. It's like this is like bottom tier passable. I don't know, Rashad.
There's some really trash tracks coming up, Mateo.
What?
Some really trash.
I mean, I guess technically there is. I at least think one of them is because neither of us have said our like favorite or least favorite track on the album.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Rashad.
Mateo, pick this album. I just don't like this at all. I really don't.
What'd you say?
I said I don't like this album at all.
Oh my gosh. What?
This is worse than Echo Jams. This is honestly like
worse than Echo Jams. Echo Jams was great and this was great too.
I guess this is why we started the podcast, but this was actually painful. I mean,
no
the 90s alt rock sound is just seems like it's been done better now. Like we improved upon this so much more that having albums like this be classics feels like so redundant and also like reductive to like things that artists are doing today. Like I don't know. That's how I feel about this.
I just disagree. I feel like this, you kind of said it. I feel like this was the kind of catalyst of, you said this way at the beginning, like the trend center. I feel like this was the beginning. This was kind of the bridge gap between the 70s prog rock to the more punk rock alternative in the early 2000s. And it makes sense timeline wise because it's late 90s.
Yeah. I mean, but does that, like, I understand it's the beginning, but, and I understand there's certain things done here that are a little bit ahead of their time, but it's not, I feel like it's not enough for me to say that this is a particularly groundbreaking album. I think there are more albums, even from earlier, you know, we talked about the 70s, talk about Talking Heads, stuff they did to set up things that became important for rock albums later on. And they're just kind of taking some of that and trying to improve on it a little bit and putting a big gimmick on it. If that makes sense.
I don't know.
I like how
not to say too much, but I
think you just said album right. Reviews, yeah.
Rashad, the Mollusk as a whole is a cult classic. But I don't want to. We need to save all that for the album review at the end, Rashad.
We do.
We need to save it.
The tracks are the same. I mean,
no. Okay, let's move on to the next track. It's gonna be all
right. Okay. You
maybe we'll agree on this one.
Go for it.
To me, as the title says, the title of the song says it right. Like, this song is just all right. Like, very much, I mean, it's halfway through the album. Very much just is like the interlude. I felt maybe possibly this is the most depressing song on the album. And I didn't really feel like
Yeah.
this one like fit in too much.
It doesn't
With
fit in. This is one that kind of sticks out weirdly. It feels.
yeah, I think this one doesn't
eh,
stick in well, I'd say.
It doesn't feel like an alt rock track, kind of in a good way, but also it kind of destroys whatever was happening earlier. Because it's sort of like a more melodic vocal based track. Not a lot of production, not a lot of instrumentation. What did you think it kind of hurt the whatever was going on before with the more prog rock sound, so that punk rock sound, or did you
Yeah.
like how it broke it up? I feel divided on that.
I think I like how it broke it up.
Yeah,
I will say overall, this isn't even my least favorite, track on the album, but like I feel like this
Mhm.
song didn't necessarily need to be there. We'll get into it later, but I feel like there was a better song later on that works as an interlude.
Yeah,
But I guess
yeah.
the way it is now, yeah, it kind of goes into the narrative that like I feel like a lot of these songs aren't homogenous, but they kind of can be grouped up into different types of genres and kind of vocals and instruments and stuff like that. And I guess it's kind of a
Mhm.
good way to break it up. But overall, for me, it's gonna be all right. It's just all right. It's just okay.
I know you
Yeah.
were mentioning like a better interlude. I have a good idea of which one. I think there's a very clear interlude track in this album. I'm pretty sure we're on the same page on this one. When we
Maybe.
do it, we should talk about it because I feel
Yeah.
like it's a very clear interlude, and the fact that it's somewhere else in the album kind of bugs me because it seems like a very weird place to put an interlude like that. And by the way, it's sort of an Oxfiend's tradition to try and identify an interlude. I feel like we've done this on every other video.
I think that definitely is a tradition. We need T-shirts that just say interlude. Find the
We
interlude.
do
I need a book. Like, where's Waldo? Where's the interlude?
Oxfiend's merch available
Wait,
on
and
five.
if I'm being honest, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think we don't have the same song as the interlude. I think I know which one you're thinking of
Yeah,
and why you're saying the placement might bug you, but
yeah.
mine is I don't. I think I have a different one.
That's
The
weird.
placement
To
doesn't
have a different
necessarily
one.
bug me. I think
Okay.
possibly.
Well,
Yeah,
let's leave
we'll see.
listeners in suspense for a bit
Yeah,
and move on to our next track, "The Golden Eel."
yeah,
A little more hard rock, a little bit
yeah.
drumming. A lot of good drumming in this one. I liked it, but I did not like how sparse the rest of the song felt. But more percussive.
Yeah, definitely more percussive.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? How the rest of the song felt? Like, were you cool with kind of like the first
Eh,
half, the first little bit of it? Like, I know it did kind of change a little bit, but
I'm trying to recollect
mm,
and I'm trying to think back, but it just felt like a lot of these tracks feel incomplete to me and a little bit sparse instrumentally. Maybe this is because I just like instrumentation that's a little bit more sweeping or a little bit more complete, and a little bit larger than life. I think in general, this album, one of the biggest things is that it's a little bit sparse instrumentally, and wherever there are kind of like notes of like, psychedelics, or you want to say electronic, alt rock, punk rock, it feels like it's very much a sample and not really added into the song very thoughtfully. So for me, the Golden Eel follows into that steps, and I like the hard rock sound, but I wish they would have really centered the track around that.
mm.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's interesting that you said the song sounds incomplete because we're like the same, different sides of the same coin on what I wrote and my thoughts about this song. To me,
Mhm.
I love the Golden Eel, if I'm being honest. But where we kind of match up is I feel like this song shouldn't have worked, but to me, I feel like it just did. Kind of everything about the song. Again, like I feel Ween brought back the use of kind of like dirty, kind of grungy instruments and
You think
vocals.
they brought that back?
They
Re-
brought it back. Like with the guitar, the drums, and
No.
I love the use of their percussion. I think it was like bongos or something. I
Yeah,
love
I
the use
think
of
so.
those two. I love the Golden Eel. It's definitely one of my top songs on this
You
album.
think they brought back like the grungy guitar?
Yeah, I think they definitely brought that back.
No,
It was just more like aggressive.
it's more aggressive than it needs to be on an alt rock album for sure, but brought back, that's kind of high praise. Grungy rock, look, I think that's something. First of all, grungy rock, that's sort of something that, safe to say, developed early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So it is a little bit before that time for sure, but I think it was being done. And I mean, look, I can't name an artist right off my head who was doing this at the time, but it doesn't feel to me like Ween was the first one to do this.
No, I mean Nirvana's grunge, but like I don't think that the album as a whole, the Mollusk isn't a grunge album. I don't think it
No,
is.
not at all.
No,
Not even
I'm just
close.
talking about this specific track and then the earlier track. What was it? Was it
I'm gonna be all right. Yeah.
I'll be your Johnny on the spot? Was that one?
Yeah,
I'll be your
that was
Johnny
it.
on the spot.
Right.
Where it was also very kind of dirty. I don't know. I think maybe we're just talking about semantics. But for the Golden Eel, I thought they brought back the same kind of instrumentation and percussive and just like guitar sounds. Where to me it just sounds a little dirty. It just sounds a little rough. It's not necessarily grunge, but maybe these are the most grungy songs on this album, and I definitely vibe with them. I definitely like them. I don't see what you're saying. How is it incomplete? I think it felt like it shouldn't work for the Golden Eel, but to me it just did. It worked.
Yeah,
I definitely will be going back to
I'll
this
say
song.
I'm about as lukewarm to negative as I've been on the other tracks for the Golden Eel. Yeah, I agree. It's harder for a rock sound, but still not very cohesive. Still nothing that I was particularly impressed by, and that kind of bleeds into my review for the next one as well. Cold Blows the Wind.
Okay.
It's a different song for sure. It kind of reminded me of It's Gonna Be All Right, a little bit more melodic, a little bit of that psychedelic sound. But the vocals are pretty unimpressive. It's not a particularly interesting alt rock song. So still pretty lukewarm on this track. What did you think, Mateo?
Okay, this one maybe I do agree. I'm a little more lukewarm. This is
Mhm.
where I actually put this should have been the interlude. That's that. You didn't write it on this one, did you?
No, I did not. I feel like you know which one I have it for.
I think I know which one you put it on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, this was good, but I just think this should have just been the interlude. I have like nothing else written about this one. It's
Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was kind of boring and repetitive, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what I kind of feel like interludes are. Boring and a little repetitive.
Pretty much.
Supposed to mellow you out, just get you through, break up the songs, and
Kind
of just what the songs was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next one, Pink Eye on My Leg. Mateo, what do you think I'm gonna say about this one?
Is this the one you thought was the interlude?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I think there's a lot of other things you probably thought about this. I think you probably did not like this song at all.
No, I did not. Good guess. You're correct. I like soundscapes. This is just not good. It's
definitely
it's excessive.
Soundscape. I didn't think it was nothing amazing. It just kind of felt like a loading screen to me. I guess this maybe was like a interlude too.
Hey, look, I like dogs as much as the next guy, but a dog bark sound effect in my
I don't know. The barks
in a nautical album. Really,
fun. It's Ween. It's fun. You know what you expected.
No,
if you didn't know, you're listening to the wrong album.
It's not fun at all.
It's just fun. It's fun. It's nautical. There's dogs on ships. Come on.
Let me give what? There's not dogs on ships.
Why not? Pirates have dogs.
They get seasick. That's why. Let me give you my spiel on Ween. They have limited talent, and they made a concept album to try and hide that. How's about that?
No. Not at all.
Accurate. I'd like to think
that. I think they're creative. I don't think they're groundbreaking. I don't think they're the best band ever. I don't think this is the best album in existence. But I think overall it's good. Again, we're jumping ahead way too much. We're trying to.
We are.
Do you have anything else to say about Pink Eye on My Leg?
No, except that it's a weird interlude that's weirdly placed at the end of the album and super unnecessary. Yeah.
You say this album is a gimmick. I say this this album can just be summed up in 2 words: weird fun. It's weird fun. It's weird nautical fun. Like that's all this album is, and it's like I think if you go in trying to expect too much, then yeah, you're gonna come out like you being kind of disappointed. But like if you're cool with just some weird fun and some cool tunes and weird vocals, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, but the instrumentation still sucks.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely disagree.
Okay.
Like, well, speaking of fun, I'm gonna jump right into the next song, "Waving
Yeah.
My Dick in the Wind."
Yeah.
Very fun, very much Ween. I think this is one of the more memorable songs on the album, and not just because of like the funny and kind of childish title of the song.
Uh-huh.
I know I listen to this song sort of frequently. Like this is definitely on my like late 90s, early 2000s playlist that I listen to.
Yeah.
Lyrics, sure, they're very, very stupid, but I love it. To me, this is Ween. This is like not the epitome of Ween, but this is close. This is another one of my top favorite songs on the album. It's
Yeah.
like Waving My Dick in the Wind. It's good.
Instrumentally, it's bad. It has more of a pop sound. I'll give it that. It's one that's probably one of the ones you could more frequently listen to over and over. Instrumentally, I think it's a little bit more interesting, but I'm still not like head over heels about this one either. I think the drumming and sort of more poppy sound was interesting for Ween, but again, not memorable. Just not memorable to me at all.
The
That's
weird title.
my take. No, just the song overall. Like not super memorable.
Not memorable. No, I always that if I just read the title, "Waving My Dick in the Wind," I just have the tune into my head.
Oh,
Waving
no
my
way.
dick in the wind.
I would never be able to get a tune like that. It's not
Funny.
catchy. It's not even catchy. It's not even like
It is catchy.
hook.
This is one of the most catchiest songs.
It's more poppy. It's more poppy, but it's kind of trying to have a pop hook, but sort of failing at it. That's my view. So we're not going to agree on this album, are we?
I think I underestimated. I don't know how you felt about this album. Yeah, we're definitely not agreeing on this album.
This is so funny. I don't know if there's gonna be an album that we're gonna fiend this hard on again. This is some serious fiending today.
I don't know. This is very much Ox Fiends.
This is, but I will say while listening to this, I was like, oh, Mateo probably loves this album.
Yeah, I mean,
I was disgusted by that fact.
We definitely fought on like Amunche Pool, Echo Jams.
Yeah, but like even Amunche Pool, I think you were less harsh than I was. I am on this for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your next choice, if I don't like it, I'm going harsh. I need to just go harsh. That was too soft. That was too soft.
You gotta be real. That's what counts. That's what.
I'll be real. I'll be real. Okay.
Okay. Buckingham Green.
Buckingham Green. I'll go off with this one. Very much prog rock. Started out just fine or kind of okay, but then 1 minute in, it kind of turned. To me, I don't know if you agree. Awesome with the guitar. Then another minute in with whatever the string instrument was. I don't know, it was a violin or something. To me, it was suspenseful. I liked it. I liked Buckingham Green.
Feels like
I don't know.
Me.
What'd you say?
It feels like a demo. Like
what?
Oh, it feels like a demo. It has
no. I like if you were to say this song has no nautical stuff. This one I would actually agree. Okay, this one doesn't belong on the Mollusk. That's even true. I read up a little bit behind Buckingham Green, and they said this was supposed to be on one of their earlier albums, but the album was going too long, so they had to cut it and save it for this one.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's good though.
Interesting. I think it has resemblance to like what an alt rock might sound like today, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, I feel like if an alt rock band or artist were to make a song like Buckingham Green today, it would not even make it onto the record. It feels so much like a demo to me. That's just my thought on that. Just incomplete.
No. It'd be the opposite. This would be like the EP they put out.
No.
Single. Yeah.
Mateo, get a hold
Okay,
of your.
I'm green. No, this is
Re-listen to
good.
this. This is
You
not good.
re-listen. I own the vinyl for this album
Why?
because it's
Why?
good. It's great album art. Like it's fun.
Well, you think the album art is great? Great.
Yeah, great. I think it's great.
I'm pulling it up right now to judge it.
It's got a mollusk or whatever on it. It's like it's 90s. It's nautical. I don't know what a mollusk is. It's got like a crustacean crab fish thing.
By the way, I'm looking up the genres right now. Art rock, neo psychedelia, alternative rock, obviously, experimental rock.
Yeah,
That doesn't.
art rock. That means fun rock. Come on.
And reading off of Wikipedia here, dark nautical theme with songs incorporating elements from psychedelia and or sea shanties while also featuring a heavy progressive rock influence. Just some more background. Kind of late in the game for that, but still nice to have that as context as we go into our next one, because I feel like it's the one song that doesn't fit into any of that description I gave. Also SpongeBob, Ocean Man.
Ocean Man. No, I gotta go with this one. Come on, you know it, you
Yes.
love it,
I do
dude.
love this
It's
song.
Ocean Man.
It's Ocean Man.
It's my favorite one.
It's their best. It's the best song on the album.
It's their best.
Spoilers.
It's the best one on the album. It's probably my favorite Ween song. Like
It's so fun.
everything about this song is perfect. 10 out of 10.
I
I think
cannot
it gives you
believe
so much
that
nautical
they
energy.
made this song. I can't
It's
believe
just like,
this song.
what do you mean? Okay, I kind of weirdly agree because I even wrote down after listening to the full album, Ocean Man weirdly felt a little out of place.
It almost
other-
like
other-
a
other
top
than Waiting-
30 song in a good way.
No, other
Look-
than wait, I meant more like incohesively with the rest of the songs. Like other than "Leaving My Dick in the Wind," like
Yeah.
the song just felt way more like upbeat and fun. No, the other songs were fun. I just, again, not in a bad way though. I think this was the perfect icing on the cake. Ocean Man. All right, go ahead, Rashad. What else do you have to say about Ocean Man? Like,
Yeah, I was saying it's more poppy. It feels like a Ween song, but also not. Like it's just too good. It's too good for me to believe that it's a Ween song. It's just so much fun to listen to. Maybe look, I tried to really keep the nostalgia out while trying to talk about this, and I'm still trying to do that. But even without like the nostalgia of hearing it on SpongeBob or listening to it with friends or whatever, still is a very well produced pop alt rocky track that doesn't feel like it should belong on an album this garbage. It belongs on a better album somewhere in the world.
what? No, I don't even know where else you could put it. Like, it just everything about Ocean Man fits. It's perfect. 10 out of 10. Near
Yeah,
the end of a good album, nautical super album. There needs to be, you need to build up with sea shanties and interludes and everything. Like, no, it's good. Everything about it is just so good. Where did you listen to this? Was it just on like Spotify?
it
Apple
was on
Music?
Spotify.
Okay, so me too. But as I'd listen to Ocean Man all the time, so there's plenty of times I just like. Here's a kind of a fun fact, little Mateo lore. But for Ocean Man, this is probably maybe it either top 3 or is one of my most favorite music videos of all time on
Interesting.
YouTube, because they just like cut the movie Creature from the Black Lagoon for Ocean Man, and it has like a little swamp monster. And,
Yeah, I
like,
always assumed the music video would just be
love
SpongeBob and credits.
yeah, I mean, of course, there's SpongeBob, all the nostalgia and stuff like that. But like, I love this music video. I love the song. There's nothing else I can say.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's really good.
Classic.
Is it one of my favorite songs of all time? No, but it is a classic. It's a really good song.
It's top 50, I'd say, of all favorite
Not
songs.
for me, but it's good. I would never mind listening to it. It's good.
Okay, I guess that's good. I guess I do wish you gave it a little higher praise, but
It's good.
with you, Rashab,
It's
with you,
it's a good with a shrug.
I get what I'll take. Okay. Okay.
She wanted to leave. So did I when I listened to this album with a hidden
Wow.
The end. Wow, what a hidden track! It's freaking Ween tinkering around in the studio, tacking it on to let this album end with. It's like an '80s rock anthem with Irish accent with like a toy piano at the end. Give me a break! Like
The toy piano.
I was done, and I could not believe I had to listen to 4 minutes and 25 more seconds of Ween. And I was so done when I came to this track.
Was that your least favorite song?
This one, no, it's definitely not my least favorite. There's definitely stuff worse than this.
Wait, which one was your least favorite? You never mentioned it.
Well, we've already talked about Ocean Man as my favorite.
Well, you just save your least favorite. Save your least favorite. But
I'll save it.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna save mine because it's this one. This was my least favorite. I felt like this one was. She wanted to leave. I felt it was weak, especially coming after Ocean Man. That's all I can say. Yeah, I did enjoy. I enjoyed the little piano tinkering at the end, but I didn't care for the beginning parts.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't know why they added on the with hidden track in parentheses for the title of the song. Like just either
Ween, why?
It's a least favorite track. It's Ender. I feel like they should have just ended it with Ocean Man.
Yeah, that would have been a good ending. Would have made me happier because it would have ended earlier too.
Okay.
I don't know if my thoughts about this are clear yet, so I'll have Mateo start with his overall thoughts.
Okay. Do you want me to save the rating, or you want me to start off with my rating?
Let's go ahead and hear your best and your favorite and least favorite first.
Oh, okay. I guess I already said mine. My most favorite was Ocean Man.
Yeah.
And then my least favorite was She Wanted to Leave with Hidden Track.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say mine. Favorite was Ocean Man. Close second. Actually, surprisingly, Mutilated Lips. Close second.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Close second, but not really close because Ocean Man is a great track.
Okay. Yeah.
Least favorite
for me too, but yeah.
Yeah. Least favorite, I'm a little bit divided between Throwing Pink Eye on My Leg, just down, even though I think it's basically an interlude, and Cold Blows the Wind. I'll go with Cold Blows the Wind. I don't remember that song.
Cold Blows the Wind? Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was an interlude. It was a weirdly placed interlude.
Here's the thing, Mateo. I'm looking at my track list right now, and any of these songs could be the worst. Pretty hard to say. Apart from Ocean Man, Mutilated Lips, maybe a few others.
Oh my gosh.
Are pretty big stinkers for me.
Stinkers.
Which I think leads us into our full-on album review. Do you agree?
Yeah, album review. Oh my gosh. Dude, okay, you're going too negative. I need to go in. Okay?
Go.
The bonus was far from bad, dude. But I hate to say it, I do think I slightly overestimated this album.
Yes.
I think I had only done a full listen maybe a year or two back. I do remember I fell asleep.
You were young, you were naive.
I wasn't young, I wasn't naive. I do remember I was falling asleep while listening to this album on YouTube or something.
Exactly.
For a while I enjoyed it, and I still do enjoy it, and I'm very glad I own the record for this album. This is definitely, I will come back to this album overall and re-listen to some specific tracks. But I think that's where I kind of misremembered how many kind of star songs or hitters, were on this album. I think there were not duds, but some songs I would maybe skip over on another listen through. I think kind of overall, only around 4 songs that really have some major, I'm talking major though, repeatability. I will always come back to listen to them, like Ocean Man, Waving My Dick in the Wind, The Golden Eel, and The Mollusk. And Mutilated Lips if I'm in the mood here and there. Overall.
Interesting opinions, because I'm going to have to disagree with you if it wasn't clear yet. Yeah, I think it's... Look, I don't know if there's even a point at this point. I think y'all know how I feel about this. To me, this is, like I said, an album that kind of had to happen to kind of bridge the gap between 2 eras of music. But at the same time, I don't think it's groundbreaking enough to really deserve a lot of credit. To me, this feels like I've said, a pretty sort of kind of like this. I feel like Ween is sort of this troll group before like making parodies was a thing. I feel like if they were around today, they'd be like a weird parody of alt rock or something like that. But it feels very much like a group that doesn't have a lot of musical talent for sure.
Oh my
Cover
god.
this up with like a very put on style that's sort of, yeah, we're gonna do like a dark nautical theme, and we're gonna have sort of weird like experimental like instrumentation, but none of it's gonna really flow. And overall as an experiment, I'm gonna say this is pretty much a failure. It's nothing that I'm looking back with at very fondly, especially considering the music that's come before it, music that's come after it. My verdict, Mateo, is that if nautical nonsense is something you wish, then please listen to The Mollusk by Ween. Does that give you an indication of my rating?
Yeah, I guess. I absolutely disagree. But I
No,
mean,
I know you do.
what was your actual numbered rating out of 10? Mine, I guess I'll just say mine. Mine
Yeah.
was 7 out of 10. I
Well,
feel
that seems higher than expected.
really.
A
I
little
thought
bit. A
mine
little
was
bit.
lower than expected. Going in,
Really.
I thought I was going to be rating this a 9 or an 8.
Whoa. Whoa.
And it was really only because I felt like it kind of had a couple too many interludes and the barking with Pink Eye in the last track. But
The
like
dogs on the ship.
dogs on the ship. But like, no, this definitely was a fair 7 out of 10 for me. I feel like Ocean Man is absolutely a classic. I always go. Well, I'm gonna be going back to Waving My Dick in the Wind and Golden Eel and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look,
You know,
I think we
just
were always meant to disagree on this one.
yeah.
Um,
I
it very
suppose
much
so.
feels like one that you would like, Mateo. I'll give you that. So I
Yeah,
understand your
I
pick.
think you said it right though. We've kind of danced around it a little bit, but I think the Mollusk is set in stone. I think it's fair to say a cult classic. Not for everyone, but
Certainly
just for
not
that
for
very
everyone.
no. I mean, everyone will like one song at least on this album. You
It'll be
know,
Ocean Man, and then you
yes,
can just listen to that
whatever.
and
Yeah,
be
but Ocean
done.
Man, it's giving it up. It's ranking it up. But like, it's a
Yeah.
cult classic.
Okay.
Like,
My
it's gonna
thing,
be
Mateo.
this is gonna be an album that some specific few or many. I don't think the majority, but I do think a heavy good minority will very much enjoy this album. Yeah.
I'm going to.
Two?
Dude,
What?
this was
Two?
a
That's like the
slog.
lowest rating.
This was a slog to get through.
Log, there's only like 44 minutes.
That's so long for a bunch of tracks that have no value at all.
Oh
Really.
my
Ocean
gosh.
Man is good, but what else does this have to offer? Nothing much. It's like it goes from Wiggles and Chuck E. Cheese to Pirates of the
Chuck
Caribbean to
E.
Pink Eye was.
No.
And at the
This was
end,
like
I
20,000
wanted to
leagues
leave
throughout, like under the
with
sea,
Hidden
all for
Track.
a while. With Hidden Track. Okay,
I
you're a
wanted to
Hidden
leave.
Track.
I wanted to leave with Hidden Track at the end.
Whatever. You're a tinkering piano. Whatever. I guess
So I think
heavy
that's
disagree.
I think that's our episode of Oxfiends today, guys.
I think that is. I know many that are listening are baffled and confused by your ratings, your picks, everything.
I think so too, but on the other end, and this begs the question, which of our listeners agree with you and which of our listeners agree with me in the past few episodes and today? Let us know.
Yeah, definitely let us
You
know.
agree with, I'm gonna tell you, we know who they agree with, but let us know.
Me, because I'm gonna
Anyway.
say this. If you agree with Rashab on anything, go ahead, unsub, stop listening.
Whoa.
Downvote, don't come back. Only agree with me, because I got the right opinion.
Or if you agree with me and you have genuine good music taste, make sure to subscribe and like this video or wherever you're listening.
Okay.
All right.
Like an
Okay.
ad.
Taro, are you ready for the next album pick? Ready.
I guess so.
What,
No,
what,
I'm
are
not
you,
ready.
what are you
I'm
thinking?
ready.
What do you think? What do you
I don't
think to
know.
expect? Do you have any expectations?
I know it's not gonna be a Ween album. I know that.
Just kidding. It's a Ween album. No, it's not a Ween album.
I don't think. I think it's definitely gonna be from a new artist that we haven't heard. I feel like maybe you're gonna go back to the pop genre, maybe rock again. I don't know. I don't
So
know though.
past two episodes, we've done Melodrama by Lord, and
Mhm.
we've done A Moon-Shaped Pool by Radiohead. This time, we're rewinding a lot. We're going back. We're going before Ween times, way before Ween times.
It's just 1997.
But in the spirit of summer and mollusk, we're sticking to the nautical theme.
Whoa.
Whoa, I know. 2 consecutive nautical albums. This album came out in the 60s by a
Well,
very
okay.
group that I know. Mateo, here's the thing. I think you're going to like this, but I'm not sure. But I think you will like this. Are you ready? So, the album is Summer Days and Summer Nights, in parentheses, by the Beach Boys.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. What are you thinking? What do
Beach
you
Boys.
think?
Okay. I don't hate this choice. I'll
I
say
know you
this.
don't.
I've definitely never listened to a full Beach Boys album all the way through. But especially coming after like Melodrama and A Moon-Shaped Pool, probably the best choice you've made so far. I respect the Beach Boys. That's fair.
I think most people would have gone Pet Sounds, but it's a little more interesting to hear this one in particular. I think this one's a little bit more honestly splashier and a little bit more fun than Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds a little bit more reflective, I think, comparably. The Beach Boys have always been sort of a cornerstone, I want to say, Americana album or band, I should say. And Summer Days and Summer Nights is like one of my favorite like ultimate odes to summer. It's a very splashy sound. Some of it's a bit dated. We're going to talk about that for sure in the next episode. But the instruments here, the vocals, honestly, you can't beat the Beach Boys. So I'm very excited to talk to you, Mateo, about next time. And I have a sense that there might not be as much fiending as today. We were really
If you bring up that like the pet shop kind of slander again, maybe there'll be some fiending, but I think with the Beach Boys,
It's not. Wait, hold on. It's not pet shop. It's not Pet Sounds slander. It's just let's do something different other than Pet Sounds. I have nothing against Pet Sounds.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sure.
So stay
Would
tuned, guys.
chosen Summer Days? No,
No.
I get your choice. Get your choice.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I don't think there'll be as much fiending, but you never know.
You
To
do never
fully
know.
wrap up the mollusk, honestly, I thought we were gonna agree. I thought you were gonna give it like a 6 or a 7.
We're at a 2 though, and here we are at a 2.
You are at a 2, and I give it a 7. I definitely think that's the lowest rating.
I think so too, but I feel like I can go to a 1 or 0 if we need to. I can go there, Mateo,
Zero.
like
Okay.
that, and we'll see where we end up.
We'll see. I think that's a good place to
Wrap things
end it
up.
off. Yeah, wrap it up.
So
thank
thank you everybody for listening.
listening. Thank
And-
you, Craig.
Thank you,
For now.
Craig. Very important to thank Craig.
Always.
Always.
Definitely. Thanks, Rashab, for I guess giving me your honest feelings, even though they
Brutally
hurt.
honest.
Brutal honest. Yes. Very
We
brutal.
keep it real here on Oxfiends.
Yeah. To keep it real.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, Mateo, and looking forward to talking about the Beach Boys with you and having you all listen. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
See ya.